the stock price is up to as we speak, especially after that fourth quarter number. Quite a sharp dip, more than 3% gone for Kotak Bank. Well, from one set of earnings to another, Marico delivered its fourth quarter numbers. Quite a good set. Domestic volumes have been good. The margins as well beat estimates. Saugata Gupta, the managing director and CEO of Marico, joins us now on the show. Hi, Mr. Gupta. Thank you so much for taking our time. So if you could start by giving us some color on how demand was in Q4 and of course in April post the second wave. Have you noticed any change in consumer patterns due to the second wave?
So I think if I look at the recent trends, it's similar to what happened last year, except there is one difference. So if I look at it, I think there's a significant demand in food. The pantry loading, of course, is not, you don't see so much panic buying, but there has been pantry loading, and therefore there will be increased consumption of food products. Again, discretionary or anything which is connected to out of home will take a beating. The only difference is, I think last year the mood was not so subdued, so therefore people were experimenting with a lot of premium indulgences, and that is something we see it missing. Fortunately for us, 90% of our product portfolio are items of daily consumption and also not connected with any out of home, and therefore we don't see any drop in consumption of our portfolio, provided we do two things, which is the last mile availability and ensure that in spite of the input cost increases, we ensure that the pricing is something which we manage. So if these two things are in control, I think we should be able to cope with this current surge.
As some of the key input prices like copra, sunflower oil, etc. have gone up substantially, the question is that are these margin levels sustainable?
Okay, so let me just give you some flavor of, there are three primary raw materials which impact your overall cost structure. First is copra, the second is the other vegetable oils, which is rice bran and sunflower, and thirdly crude, because crude also has a input and also has an impact on packaging material. Now as far as copra is concerned, I think when we were in February, we were expecting with the start of season the prices to drop down some 7-8%. Instead there was a 8 to 9% increase in prices instead of a 7-8% decrease in prices because of late availability. The season started late and there were some local factors in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Now since then, in the last 1 month, there has been a 16% decrease in copra prices, which is basically the same reduction which we are expecting in Feb-March. There has been some 6 to 8 week delay. So we are back to what we were expecting, and therefore the annualized copra cost this year, full year, and the productivity is going to increase 5%. It's going to be flattish to slightly inflationary. So I think copra is under control, and obviously whatever price increases we have taken, I think this is sufficient to take care of margins. Coming to other vegetable oils, this is still inflationary, but we expect that a lot of it is due to supply and speculation issues in the international market and not necessarily demand, and therefore it is likely to stabilize towards the end of the quarter. And as crude is concerned, I think we are comfortable as long as it's in the 60-65 zone. Anything other than that, it will necessitate some more price increases. So if you take the overall situation under concern, I think we are far better off. We will keep on increasing our operating margins as we go forward. I think Q4 was the lowest, and we will start getting into the medium-term operating margins as we get into the second half of the year.
Okay, I wanted to know what the competition is like for Saffola, that segment on the organized side. Has the Saffola price premium how has the Saffola's price premium compared to some of the other organized sales segment? Is it maintained or has it gone up?
So I think on Saffola we have our price increases have lagged input costs. So we have been, I think, sometimes little more competitive or equally competitive. We haven't been less competitive as far as pricing is concerned.
Understood. Now the VAHO segment, it's the second straight quarter where you've posted very strong growth. The question is this growth sustainable? If you could share with us, signs of indications of sales as well on the premium segment side.
So our participation in the premium segment is relatively low compared to a lot of players. Our participation is by more in the base segment and of course the bottom of pyramid. I think and having I think we had some issues with some of the mixes of some of our brands which have since been corrected. So we are pretty confident of over a medium term to start delivering the double-digit growth aspiration we have had for the category.
Okay. Mr. Gupta, how are you looking to tap the opportunity in the food portfolio meantime?
So if you really look at it, we believe that Saffola has been a very under-leveraged health food brand. It started off with heart health, but actually it is now, it stands for healthy living and eating right. And therefore, I think what we have undertaken is to have a significant expansion in our total addressable market with the brand Saffola with healthy foods or better for you foods. We started with honey. We went into Chyawanprash. We have now got into nuggets and now got into oodles. I believe we have enough on our plate right now. We crossed the 300 crore mark last year. We intend to again drive another 50% growth to cross 450 and then end up at 850 crores sometime between 23, 24 or 24, 25 and maintain this 40 to 50% growth every year. And I think we will look at mid-size segments which are which have an opportunity to participate into Saffola with a healthy alternative, which have tailwinds for growth, and there are many such segments in this. Having said that, we will not get into indulgence, we will not get into impulse, because our go-to market is essentially modern trade, e-com and urban retail. So we will restrict ourselves to that, focus ourselves on that, and continue to maybe look at other categories sometime in the next 12 months.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, in the second wave, of course, we are seeing Kirana shop hours restricted, chemists open, of course, 24/7. Are you planning to rejig your distribution channel strategy?
In any case, I think expanding in chemist and cosmetic was one of our big distribution drivers in the last 1.5 to 2 years. We had put on hold the expansion in cosmetic because of the surge, but we had been pushing our distribution in chemist. There's been a significant around 4 to 5x expansion in chemist outlets, which we have done in urban, in addition to rural expansion, which we are doing. So we are in a much better place. I think you are right that restricted hours is something and which we are concerned about. At the same time, given the current surge, for us, the first priority is the safety of our people. And therefore, we are balancing it. I think we believe we will have some solutions. For example, we are doing a lot of telecalling to take orders. And therefore, as things and different states will go through the different stages. And I believe that things are expected to improve sometime in the second, third week of May. So as long as there is no significant consumption issues, I think we are okay with this kind of a disruption. We will catch up in terms of, as we enter June and July.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the international business. Bangladesh has done well, but what about Southeast Asia and the MENA region? Because that's been a bit underperforming. Could we expect to see a turnaround in the next quarter?
So I think Bangladesh continues to do well. There we have undertaken a significant diversification of our portfolio. Today, 40% of our portfolio was non-parachute coconut oil. It was only 10% 3-4 years ago. I think the economy does well, but of course, there has been a little bit of a mild second surge compared to India, and there is a little bit of a lockdown, but we believe that these are short-term issues. We have started recovering our growth in Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia, after 8 quarters, delivered double-digit growth. We expect this double-digit constant currency growth to continue this year, and as far as COVID is concerned, I think it's very much under control there. Middle East and North Africa, again, Middle East, with the space of vaccination, things are opening up. We believe the economy is also going to be decently good, and we expect growth there. So I think overall, a double-digit constant currency growth in international business is very much possible this year.
All right. Sugata, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about the fourth quarter numbers for Marico. And from Marico, let's talk about HUL.